Hi y'all, it's Melissa with Fun Young Frills. Today we're going to be making a lemon blueberry cake with cream cheese frosting. So we'll dive into the ingredients. This recipe called for cake flour. Now my neighbors didn't have cake flour. I wasn't seeing it at my local grocery store, so what I always do is look up if there's a substitute. In this case, it was a really easy way to make my own cake flour. All I did was for every cup of flour, you take out 2 tablespoons of the flour and add in 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, and then just sift it a few times. So that's all I did to make my cake flour. All right, so the first step is we need to prep our bowls. So in order to do that, what I did was take a piece of parchment paper, not wax paper, parchment paper that's at least the width of this guy, this 6-inch round tin. Then what I did is I folded that piece of paper in half because we are going to have 2 of these round circles. Since I'm doing the X-Acto knife, I'm going to lay this down on here and I'm just going to put some pressure on there and trace around this guy. All the way around. And what I should have, 2 circles to go in the bottom of my tin. I am going to want to butter and flour these so that it doesn't stick when I try and take it out. So all I'm going to do is take my room temperature butter, and notice I left the wrapper on it when I was getting it to room temperature. I do that because this is the trick my mama taught me. I'm going to go ahead at this point and open this butter up, and I'm just going to put it on my little butter tray. You can put it in a bowl or whatever. You're going to mix it, so it doesn't really matter where you put it. Put that off to the side, and I am going to take this guy now with the buttery side that it has created and just circle all around these guys. And I'm going to flour it. So what I'm going to do is just take a couple pinches of flour out of my flour canister over here. I'm just going to sprinkle it around, and then we'll arrange it into the other one. All right, so now I've got some flour in my pan. So now I'm just going to kind of tilt it on its side and just dab it around on top of the other one because the other one's going to need flour too. So that way I'm not really wasting anything. And just sprinkle this around and the rest of the bottom there. Work it all the way around. Dump the excess into the other one. And then I do the same thing with this guy. All right, put these in the bottom. And set those to the side. Okay, so now there's still 2 ingredients that we need to make. One of those is going to be our lemon zest. So we need 1 teaspoon of lemon zest. I am going to just set this guy into a little bowl, and then I'm going to take my grater and I'm just going to start grating this lemon. And then I'm just going to pack all of that into this 1 teaspoon until I get that full teaspoon. So we've got our 1 teaspoon of lemon zest. I'm going to set that off to the side here with my ingredients. And then the next thing that we need is that lemon juice. All I'm going to do is cut my lemon in half, one of the ones that I did for the zest. And I'm just going to squeeze it over my clean hand so that I catch all the little seeds that may come out. Okay, so now is a good time to go ahead and preheat your oven. You're going to preheat it to 350. And now is the fun part. We actually get to start baking. So the first thing you're going to do is actually, don't drop anything, is you're going to put your flours together. So that's your 3/4 cups of all-purpose flour and then the cake flour. So you're going to put those together. You're going to add in your baking sodas, your powder, your salt. So mix those guys in. Just whisk that all together until everything's nice and mixed. You're going to set that aside. Next, we're ready to use our mixer. So we're going to open this guy up. And the first things we are going to mix are our butter. So our room temperature butter that at this point is softened. Our sugar, go ahead and pour that in there. And our lemon zest that we just made, that 1 teaspoon. Go ahead and get that in there. Now we're going to mix it until it's nice and fluffy. While that's mixing, I'm going to pour in my milk and my sour cream. To my milk and sour cream mixture, I'm also going to add in the lemon juice that we did. Let those mix together, and I'm going to set this to the side for about 3 minutes. Okay, so now I'm going to mix in my eggs. I'm going to do this one at a time until those are all mixed in. And then I'm going to add in my vanilla extract and my lemon extract. And then to the blueberries, I'm just going to add in about a tablespoon of this flour mixture, just to start introducing that to the blueberries. And I'm just going to mix a little bit with my hands. My hands are clean. So just mix this around until they get just coated. Shouldn't have too much extra flour in there at all. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start working in batches. I'm going to set those blueberries to the side. Those get folded in at the end. So I'm going to grab one of my smaller mixing cups. I like to use this versus the big funnel that gets on here because I feel like flour goes everywhere. So I'm going to work in batches. I'm going to start with the flour and slowly add just about a third of this in here, and then I'm going to add in about half of my milk mixture, go back to the flour, milk mixture, back to the flour. Okay, so I have fully mixed all of my flour mixture and my milk mixture in here, and I'm just going to fold the blueberries in very gently so as not to break any, or you don't want to start seeing blue all over the place. On these guys, you do not want to fill them more than halfway because they are going to rise, and if you fill them too much, then what's going to happen is they're going to bake really unevenly, so you're going to have a really soggy middle and crusty outside. Believe me, I've been there, I've done it. So I'm here to teach you not to. So we're just going to fill these halfway. Alrighty, halfway, they're ready to go in. My cake's baked for about 35 minutes. Remember, it just depends on your oven. It should be anywhere between 30 to 40 minutes, but you should be able to put a toothpick all the way through the middle, pull it out, and there won't be any cake on it. That's when you know to take them out. And then you're going to want them to cool in the baking pans for at least another 20 minutes before you then flop them out onto a cooling rack. Let them completely cool. Maybe take your cream cheese frosting out of the fridge if it's been in the fridge. And then I'm going to show you a really cool trick I learned to bake or to ice a cake. So I took my cake stand, or if it's a plate that you have, or whatever it is that you're putting your cake on, go ahead and rip off a few pieces of parchment paper and put those down first, and kind of slide them around so that they're not all even, but still from the base of the cake where it is. Then ice the middle. Once the top of that layer has a good amount of icing on it, then you're going to top it with your second layer. You're going to start with dumping a bunch of icing kind of in the middle. Do a few good globs on there, and then slowly start spreading it around the top and let it kind of ooze down the side. My cake is now iced. Now all I'm going to do is I am able to shimmy out little pieces of wax paper. Either shimmy or just lift slightly with a knife so you don't get any icing on your pretty cake stand. Voila, now you can just decorate it however you want. Hope you enjoyed this. See you again soon.